Hello, I am Dr. Balasubramanian Tyagarajan. Now I am going to discuss about various types of image formats which we are going to use in our Scribus document. A book without pictures or images is like food without salt. So, images play a very important role in making your book readable. So there are various types of image formats available, and these image formats can be imported into Scribus, and some of the images need to be imported into the image frame. Some formats of image can be directly placed on Scribus. So we are going to discuss the difference between these two types. So I am going to insert a new page so that we will play around with these images. Now the most common, there are two broad types of image classification. One happens to be the bitmap images, the other happens to be the vector images. Bitmap images classically include the most common and well known JPEG format. Then comes the lesser well known TIFF format, and then next comes the PNG format, and then GIMP format. These are the common image formats which are available for us to use. But the problem is with the JPEG format, even though it is a very common format which is used by the photographers by and large all over the world, the problem is this image format, when it is edited, every time it is opened for edit, it undergoes loss of quality. There is a certain amount of degradation every time the JPEG image is opened up for editing. So JPEG, even though it is a highly compressed image format, but it suffers lot of loss of data because of the compression algorithm. So, but still, all said and done, the internet is very fond of JPEG format because it does not occupy that much space. But it is a printer's nightmare for the simple reason that JPEG format does not come out well on printing. The colors does not display so beautifully. The quality of the image also suffers every time the image is edited. So these are all the drawbacks a printer faces when he is forced to print a JPEG image. On top of it, these JPEG image cannot be made transparent, whereas the other images like TIFF is actually the format which is loved by printer because this image format is huge. There is no loss of image quality. Every time you edit, the quality remains the same. If you want to archive an image, I will advise you to use TIFF format to archive the image, and print document containing TIFF images print rather well. It comes out in full colors, and all the glossy magazines and pictures are all available in TIFF format. So these are all them. Then so here I will advise every one of you to, if you are going to allow your document to be printed, if you want your document to be printed, you put your image inside the image frame in the TIFF format or in the PNG format, but definitely not in GIF format because GIF is not compatible with Scribus. Even if you embed a GIF file, it shows up only, it takes only one frame will be displayed. So you have only three options to import images within the Scribus. One is the JPEG, the other one is the TIFF, the third one is the PNG. The TIFF and PNG can be made transparent, and if you make an image transparent, it can form a logo, it can form a subtle logo inside the document. It will be actually a watermark, it can be used as a watermark. So now let us import some images and see. So now I have drawn an image frame. I am going to import a PNG file. from my desktop. So this is actually the PNG file I am importing. I am going to resize the frame to contain the image. Resizing has been done. Now I want to slowly decrease the opacity of this image so that it will become more and more translucent and it will become a watermark. So let us go about and try doing it. Go to properties, go to image, use scale and carry on with all these things. Go to color, then here the opacity you can reduce. You see what happens the moment I start to reduce the opacity. So I'm just making it say around 10. See, maybe we can even have it as a 8. So this forms a real watermark. Now you can draw a text frame here and get some text here. See what happens. So now you see the text over the image. Now image forms a small watermark. You can also make this text go behind the image. For example, level, you lower the level. So if you lower the level, here I need to select the text, go to level, lower the level. Level, over to bottom. So this is the maximum level it can be reduced, and if you lower the level, what happens is your image which is there in the backdrop is taking the shape of a watermark. So this classically shows how we can use a PNG image as a watermark because it can be made transparent by reducing its opacity, whereas in a JPEG it is not possible. You need to do about in a roundabout way fashion. You need to create a layer on top of it, and you make the layer little bit less opaque, and you place the image underneath that layer. So these are complicated things you need to do when you want to get the same function out of JPEG image. But whereas if it is going to be a PNG image, if it is going to be a TIFF, or even if it is going to be a GIF, still these things are all possible. So the problem with these images are if it is going to be a JPEG or if it is any bitmap image, they are all made up of small colored dots. So the moment you try to increase the size of the image, so what happens is the more and more you attempt to increase the size, the image becomes distorted, the image becomes less clear. So when you want to increase the size of the image, when you want to enlarge the image, these bitmap images, they have a limitation of the size. So there is always a size above which cannot be enlarged. So it is not infinite. The more you enlarge the highest point, the image will become a little bit hazy, and it will break down, it will become distorted. So that is a problem. Whereas the raster images, next to the bitmap images, next common type, the next type of image happens to be the vector images. These vector images are all mathematically formulated images. These lines which form these vector images are all mathematically formulated. So you can directly import these images into Scribus. You need not necessarily need an image or text frame for the importing. You can directly import these vector files into your Scribus document, and you can resize it. You can enlarge it to how much you want. Still the quality of the image does not suffer. So there are a lot of vector image generating software. The most common open source software happens to be Inkscape, and the paid software famous is Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is again one of the famous raster image creating software. And then you can, if you don't want to spend money on software, you can always use Inkscape to generate these raster images. Now let us see how we can import directly the raster images into your Scribus document. Now I will create another page. Let us play around with these pages. Another page here. So now I want to import a vector graphic. Fine, and then I will import, then get a vector file. So here I have a format called SVG. The popular vector image formats include SVG, which happens to be the default file of Inkscape. If it is going to be Adobe Illustrator, it is AI. There are certain PostScript files also which can be imported as images into the document. Even PDF happens. You can consider your PDF also as an image file. We will also see how we can import a PDF file page by page into a image frame. So now I am going to import this file, SVG file, into, say here cursor has taken a, just a minute, we will import, get the vector file, the cursor will become. So now it has managed to import the vector file which I have created and placed inside my desktop. So this is the vector file, nothing but I have used an alphabet to make things simple so that we can use it as an alphabet. Now the vector file again can be tampered around. For example, you can reduce the opacity. See, you can make it translucent, make it as watermark. You can play around with all these things if you have a vector file imported. The major difference is you need not have an image frame to import vector file, whereas if you want to import any bitmap file like these files, you need to have a image frame. All these files will be held in an image frame. So all these files will need to have a image frame to hold the images. So you need to have a image frame for all the bitmap type of files, whereas if you want to import a vector file, you can directly import a vector file into Scribus. Now let us create another page and insert a page. Now I will show you how to import a PDF document. So I kept a created an image file. Now I will go to, it needs to be an image frame, given a text frame. So I will put an image frame and then I will go to get image, then image I will take a PDF file. So here I have a PDF file. So let us see. It's Scribus. So I got the PDF file. This is actually the PDF file, the first page which it has imported. Suppose you want to import, the thing is it imports only page by page. It won't import the entire document. It will import one page after another. Supposing it has by default taken up the first page. Supposing if you wanted to import some other page, you go to properties and then go to image. Here page number, you say you make it 2. If you give 2, if you give 4, it will import the 4th page. If you are going to say 5, it will import the 5th page. See, the pages change. If you say 6, it will import the 6th page. Say if you say 7, it will import the 7th page. So it has a knack of, say, the page number, the specified page number will be imported into the image frame automatically. Suppose you want to import the entire PDF document into a Scribus document, all you got to do is create a number of pages and then insert image frame all these pages, and then you import these PDF files as images, and you specify, go to the properties and you specify the page number which you need to import into the document. So for example, let us say I will import the page number 8. See, page number 8 is coming. So now page number 9, page number 10, page number 11. See, this is a very useful feature in Scribus which definitely you are going to enjoy. Thank you for your patient listening.